guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This is version 1 and this is the rise of Cornoe. The playthrough that we're using this fictitious Soviet state over here and growing it from a tiny little village, fishing village to be exact, into economic powerhouse. Now, this is going to be a realistic playthrough, and I've kind of, there's a few things that I've missed out on discussing in the first episode, but I was keen to kind of get the game going. So while we're waiting on a lot of these things, because there's a lot of waiting happening, especially at the start when you're still trying to build your basic infrastructure up. So while we're waiting, there's a few things that I need to kind of talk through. So I'll kind of talk through while we keep an eye on what's going on over here. And the first one that I want to touch on is, what is Workers and Resources? I'm conscious that not everybody has been following the channel for the number of years that we've been playing this. I think we've been playing this for 5 years now, since it initially came out in early access. And it's grown significantly. And so I thought I'd maybe touch on what is Workers and Resources for those of you that's actually new to it. Now that it's version 1, and there's the kind of a game publisher involved and things like that, I'm sure there's going to be tons more people going to play this, and they should. It's an amazing game. It's the best game, and in my opinion, my humble opinion, because this is the kind of stuff that I love, and I'll explain why I love it in a little bit more detail. But so let's touch on what it is. In its essence, it is a city builder. As you can see, we're building a city, and a very realistic city builder at the same time. So, and it's obviously a little bit themed in the sense that it's set in the Soviet era. And I think a reason why that makes it so interesting is because this is a very, it's a planned economy, basically. And that's what makes it so cool to use it as a bit of a base for a city builder, because it's a planned economy. You're planning everything that you're producing, everything that you're extracting, where that goes once you've extracted it. Do you export raw products? Like over here, you can see we're quarrying stone. That is being then processed into gravel. Gravel is then being stored and used in other processes. So you plan this entire process. You build this facility, and you plan that entire process. You can decide to export the raw materials. If I wanted to, I can build a setup here to take this quarried stone, which is currently doing nothing because everything is kind of filled up, right? But I could take this quarried stone and I could export it. That could be the goal, or not, right? Or you could manufacture better products, and with that comes so much complexity in terms of how you do it. Where is your demands? How many? You need to manage the entire chain. So let's say this thing generates. Oh, it's not actually saying what it's doing per day because it's standing still, but that generates a certain tonnage per day. This thing can then produce a maximum of 27 tons of gravel per day using 40 tons of quarried stone, and it uses power at the same time, right? There we go, busy doing its thing. And then so on. All of these things go into unique processes where now you're starting to combine things. You could start combining bitumen and gravel to form asphalt. You're combining gravel and cement and water to make concrete. In fixed ratios. So you can plan this economy from start to finish, right? What are you going to use for construction? What are you going to export? What are you going to give to your people? And in that, your people don't buy anything. You don't earn any taxes or anything like that. All of your money is generated through your economy. So you have to export to get any kind of money. Okay, and that's where it really becomes interesting. So you've got these border posts in a variety of areas. Either, and let's open up the map. Questions on the map. This is a map that is a part of the campaign. So it is effectively an in-game map, this one. So here's our town. This is the mini map. We haven't researched any of this yet, so we don't know where our raw resources can be found. The little blue lines over here is NATO borders. So that's borders where you can access the NATO market, where you can trade for dollars. The red lines are borders with the Soviet countries, and where you can trade for rubles. Okay, so that's kind of in a nutshell how it'll work. There's numerous border posts all around, plus you can export via air. You can build airports, export via air, or you can export via water, and these border posts also have rail connections. Okay, in a nutshell, that's how the economy works. Planned economy. Okay, but it is beyond that, even more complex as a city builder as well, in the sense that we have people, right? We've got a population over here. Research is complete. We're going to just jump into that and keep the research going. So now we've reached party ranking. So the next thing is prioritizing high-ranked members in certain ways. Whether we need that straight away, I don't know. Advertising campaign for Western countries is something we can get to maximize our tourism. We can do an air traffic study, which will ultimately let us build airports. Container standards. What is the secret police? I think secret police is going to be the most important one now that we can identify loyalty and party member rankings based on our research. Secret police is a way that we can identify individuals and their loyalty towards our regime and our government. So we're going to go ahead and make a start on that research over there. Okay, so back to our population. This is our population. We've got about 1,500 productive age workers. We've got a few babies. We've got a few school-age children. And we've got a few adults living with their parents. So that's a bit of a problem, and that will result in escapes. Okay, so that's what you're kind of seeing over here. So we'll get through all these demographics very quickly. So we would want to solve that. We have our standard basic needs that we need to have a look at. Happiness, whether people have food, whether they've got what's the status of medical, how loyal they are to the government, whether they're addicted to alcohol, and this is generally kind of synonymous with whether it's accessible to alcohol. Sports enjoyment, cultural enjoyment, these two. So what available facilities do you have over here? We've got over here, you can see we have a cinema. The cinema generates cultural enjoyment, for instance, and people want that as part of their basic needs. Similarly, we also have indoor swimming pool, which generates sports enjoyment, and we need to give people access to all of these basic needs. If we click on an individual, let's pause the game, click on I can't remember you can't click it there. You have to click it here. So if we click on an individual, I'll unpause the game so we continue to do our construction. Here you can see this. There's a lot of details around here. The person is 38 years old, Sharonov. Lifespan is expected to be 78. Average productivity is 88%, and that's very much linked to happiness and loyalty and things like that. So we want to keep a close eye on that. We don't want that to drop significantly. So we'll keep a very close eye on these happiness statistics. Where they live, how much free time they have. So now they're currently, so let me pause it for a second while I quickly say. So they've just finished their work shift, and now they've got 16 hours of free time. And now they will use this free time to try and meet their needs, depending on what is available to them. So they will go and get their food and electronics and all of the things that they need. And then they'll go for sports enjoyment, cultural enjoyment, things like that. This person seems to have not had access to clothing. But anyway, other than that, you can also see kind of what their daily needs are in terms of food and electronics and things like that. Whether it's daily, I can't remember. But anyway, they will spend their 16 hours to do various things. That they're in their free time now. And there you go. They went to the shop and they went to get their stuff. So now you can see they've got all their needs. Their daily needs, they've got it, and I'm not sure what they're doing with the rest of it. Maybe I don't know if we'll actually see these numbers tick over, even if they're busy spending their time somewhere. Let's quickly look where this person is. This person is at home, so there we go. Work shift is starting, so now heading out to work. Okay, it's starting to snow, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But these are their basic needs, and we need to have a look at how they're being addressed. Okay. So lots and lots of detail in that. And this is the overall for everybody in general. We've got numbers of unemployed workers. So as you can see, almost no one is unemployed, which is a good and a bad thing. I think generally, given that we're already feeding people, where people don't get paid and they don't need a job to be able to, afford basic needs, it means that we don't have extra workers to be able to do construction projects and all kinds of things. So in my mind, we want unemployed workers, at least a certain amount of them. Various other things here, like average age, average productivity, how many people are educated, not educated, and university educated, how much is access to electronics do they have, and is there any car ownership, and so on. And we can track this over time and all these kind of things. So a very complex piece of thing, city builder, very complex in terms of what we're managing people. Okay, now as I mentioned, there's a variety of things that you can build to meet these needs. So if you go here to residential areas, you can kind of see cinema, or these are their cultural needs. Some of this needs research. This is the sports needs, alcohol needs, food and shopping, and it's a residential needs. So that's their basic needs in there. When we get to education and other needs, like healthcare and so on, we find it here. Fire station, emergency, fire station, hospital, schools, universities, crime and justice, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and so on. So very complex. I'm not going to go in everything right now. We'll kind of slowly make our way to all of these things. But that's generally what the situation is. Now, beyond that, beyond just managing your citizens' needs, you also need to manage all of the basic items. So, for instance, you need to look at electricity provision. At the moment, what are we doing? We've got an electricity connection here on our border. We can import and export things. And what we're doing at the moment is we're importing electricity. So that's basically what we're busy doing. Importing electricity at this kind of average cost, basically. Then we have a high voltage wire. So it's that level of complexity. We need to build all these networks as well. We've got this high voltage wire coming into a switch over here. And now actually we'll go underground, where you can see from the switch, we've actually got an underground cable to our substation over here. And from our substation, we've got medium voltage cables distributing power into the city to these various electric substations like there. So now, and then you can see that substation has the potential of being overloaded, but at the moment its estimated maximum consumption is only 80%. So that is about as loaded as we want it. So that means we will need to get another substation over here to serve these new buildings that we're planning. At the moment, this one will reach it, but it'll probably get overloaded at the same time. So you're not dealing with the complexity of running individual cables to buildings, but you are dealing with the complexity of running cables to substations. And the same is true for things like water and sewage. In the last episode, we planned our basic water treatment facility over here. Our water network includes things like a well, a small water well. Now we've got a reservoir here where we will store that water. Then we will treat it in a water treatment plant, because at the moment our water quality here is 93%. It's not bad, but it's not quite drinking water. So people will get sick if we use that. So this one here will then have to use chemicals and electricity to generate cleaner water. And we're trying to get it to 99%. I think above 97 is safe for consumption. I can't remember, but I think that's what it was. And so from there, we will then go underground again. So we've got this pipe coming from our well, going into a pump, because water doesn't just kind of generally flow, and this may be good enough, but I don't know. I don't think it will be. Actually, I don't think it will work at all. So that's why I've got a pump in there to fill up this reservoir. The reservoir then has pressure to get it back into the treatment plant. And the reason I've got the reservoir there is, let's say we've got a power outage, right? And we don't necessarily get any water from the well. At least the reservoir will give us a bit of a buffer for us to fix our power problem. And then from there, it goes into the water treatment facility. Again, once it's treated, the clean water will be using that pump, go to a next reservoir again, We don't want pumps to be our weakest point. So we've got another buffer here. We fill this one up with water, and then it'll use the pressure system, no electricity, to then distribute. We still need to do pipes to our substations over here. At the moment, we've got trucks bringing water in here from the border. Just see how complex this is, how involved and complex this is. So we're trying to then reduce that, because that's a very inefficient way of delivering water, by including our new pipes. So let's quickly build these pipes, or at least plan these pipes. We've got another research finished. Oh, that's a beautiful one. We'll have a look at that in just a minute. Okay, so let's see. We want to do pipes. Now, there's various sizes based on your requirements. I don't want to get it too involved into calculating things, but you can calculate to the nth degree in this game. I just want to go ahead and split from here to our various substations. So we've got a substation over here, we've got a substation over there, and we'll probably build another substation in this general direction. Now, I think what we'll do is we'll need some form of splitter here, right? But we don't actually just have a pipe splitter, I think. Oh, we do. A water switch. Right, so we could just build a water switch somewhere here. Yeah, I actually think it'll work. Let's flip this around. So where's this? I don't want that. Let's mirror this. Actually, something like that would work. I need to find the spot. So yes, it can sometimes be a little problematic to get this to work. Now that's going to be a little problematic. So if we were to see if we can squeeze it in over here, there we go. We can. So let's do that. We'll pop in that water switch over there. This should have enough pressure to actually get water to people. So let's get that pipe to go over there. We will have a pipe able to go to the other side. So let's get this pipe to go in here. And then what we need to do is we'll get this pipe to run that way. Okay, and the other pipe we'll need to run all the way over here. Now, you can be as meticulous about how you want to do these things, or you can be as difficult with it as you want. Right, so you can run it only under roads, or you can just do a straight line. I think for this first town, we will do broadly straight lines, but maybe a little bit like this, because it's over here anyway. Go in there and go in there. And there we go. And now we can activate its construction. We can just say, if you're not playing realistic mode, you can actually buy this with your money, but we will play realistic mode, of course. So we will start that construction. Now there's a construction project ready to be picked up by our construction crews. I will tie in a little road there so we can actually get to it. Let's get above ground again. So that's the next piece. Our research is getting done, multiple pieces of research. Let's move on to our research. So we have just finished the geology one. We can actually have a look over here at our science advisor to look at the science tech 3. Now, you will see we've researched the geological mapping. So that's the end of the line for that. So we can kind of look at whether we want to do anything else on this line or start doing something else. Concrete utilization could be really good for us to build bigger buildings. Metallurgy will allow us to do steel production. That's something that we're going to be very interested in. We don't have a medical university, so that's not going to be able to help us. The white is medical research. The blue is science, technical research, and the red is kind of Soviet. What do they actually call it? Party headquarters research. So it's kind of community, social research, basically. Okay, so we've got some pollution monitoring that we can do. Basic research for pollution is something that quite be useful. Chemical production, nuclear science faculty, waste processing. That's something that we're going to have a look at fairly quickly as well. And these are some of the things that we're looking at in terms of social. So in terms of tourism activity, distribution and the like. I think for the time being, we're going to start work on waste processing. So let's pop in here and make a start on waste processing. So get started on waste processing, because that's one of the things we're going to have to start looking at fairly soon. Okay, as you can see, our construction crews are really busy and these buildings are starting to pop up. So we have to look at a variety of different needs. We need to look at heating. So if we go back underground for a minute, you can see we've got a sewage network running here. This super white one here is a sewage network. These are heating pipes. So we've got a heating network coming into a small heating exchanger over here to give everybody heat because it's snowing. And we've got the water network, so multiple pipes. And then we also have electricity cables here as well. So see, lots and lots of stuff. So all of these needs has to be met. And we are responsible for planning it out and then building it. But what is great about it, that the game as well, is if we go into our gameplay settings over here, you can see that you can switch on and off any of these things, so that you can choose how difficult this game should be for you, how complex it should be for you, so you can really match your requirements. So I've got unsatisfied citizens only medium. Can't remember clicking that actually, but anyway, we can make citizens more or less happy, or the effect of happiness have a bigger impact on what they do, escapes and things like that, less productivity, those kind of things. We do energy management. Do we do energy managers just for buildings or for buildings and vehicles? You can choose. So energy management, I've kind of discussed the buildings one. So that's electricity network. Energy management for vehicles is this. It's a fuel station over here. All of these vehicles can run out of fuel. If they run out of fuel, they would stand by the side of the road. And now we can actually see another complexity. Because it's winter, it's snowing, we have snow plows out on the road busy doing their thing to make sure that these roads can be used efficiently. Otherwise, everybody slows down significantly. So we're actually plowing the roads. It's amazing at what we do. We've also got waste collection happening at the same time, which is the next kind of thing that we're talking about. So water management, water and sewage. Do we manage it? Yes, we do. You can switch it off so you don't need it. Then all buildings will be happy without water. Waste management, you can do that. You can add it. You can switch it on. You can do it with demolition or not. So demolition is, if we want to break down this building, most city builders, you click the bulldoze button, you click the building, and gone is the building. You can use that space again. Not this game. In this game, you have to send a crew. There they are. That's the demolition office. You have to send them out here, spend days to break down this building, and then the waste needs to go somewhere. Once the waste is cleared, only then this area will be open to build something new. Amazing, amazing how complex that is. I love it. I absolutely love it. Maintenance, all of these vehicles, if you look at one of these vehicles, you can see it's got a wear and tear. 0% wear and tear. This vehicle is still like brand new. Let's see if we can find something that's a little older. Wear and tear 5%. So there's already 5% wear and tear on this, and we've got a setting here saying that if it is more than 50% wear and tear, it will be maintained. So here we've got a vehicle repair station to maintain all of these vehicles. That is just super complex. Day-night cycle, pretty self-explanatory. We're in the middle of night at the moment. And you can see the lights are on. It's actually it's a different view of the city, but also you can see where you have power and not have power. It's a bit of a pro tip. If you're using the day-night cycle, you can see where you have electricity problems. And if lights start flickering, you know your substation is probably overloaded. Okay, then we've got summer and winter. Crops don't grow in winter, and we also need to heat our buildings in winter, and we need to deal with snow on the roads. So things happen slower in the winter, and we can't generally produce food if we are producing our own food. Building fires, we haven't really seen one, but any of these buildings can burst into flame, and then our fire station over here with a coverage range, as you can see, needs to go out and go and fight the fire. You have to buy vehicles for this as well, otherwise they won't be able to do it. And you need workers to work there, otherwise they won't be able to do it. Then your buildings will burn down. As simple as that. It's so complex. Every decision you make has an impact. Still, our pipes are being built over here, so we're not quite in a position to switch on our different water system, but hopefully soon. Global events, that's just like oil prices and things. So if you're exporting oil, for instance, you can be impacted by global events that reduces that price, and now all of a sudden your economy is tanking or something like that. Very cool mechanic. Vehicle availability. That's just kind of gauging at what point vehicles become available to purchase from the border or purchase their blueprint and build your own, which is something we'll do way down the line. Pollution is enabled, so that means that this facility is busy generating pollution. Can't really see it being showcased here, but you will see an impact on the health of the residents that live nearby. So that's a 97% health there. This one is 97. So what that tells me is that it's not too bad. We're not seeing a significant impact on the health of people over there, but that's what pollution basically does. Education simulation is in 3 tiers. We've got, what do we have over here? We've got nurseries, kindergartens. So kindergartens are basically just daycare. So if there aren't enough kindergartens, you find that people can't go to work because they have to watch their own kids. So we've got these kindergartens so people can actually go and work, and we can find some stats around that in a number of locations. Then we've got schools. Schools do the basic education for people. And then we've got universities. University does degree education, and it also does research. So that's the complex, simple, or no education simulation. Crime and justice. We've got a police station over here that has responded to a medium crime. Again, look at the complexity. To a medium crime, it's busy solving the crime. From there, that person, hang on, well, that's done over now. So that medium crime has now been referred to the courts. So now this person is on trial. And from there, the person will be sentenced, whether it's a minor or a medium or a serious crime. You can actually say what the sentence is. It just shows you, as a socialist, this is not a democracy. And then you send people to prison. And they get reformed. Again, even in prison, you need to provide them food, clothing, and meat, and you have to kind of send it here. And you can kind of set what the kind of prison rehabilitation program looks like. Amazing complexity. Again, and if you're using the crime as enabled, people will get unhappy due to the levels of crime that they're experiencing. At the moment, they're not experiencing much crime, so it's not having a big impact on their happiness. Realistic mode, traffic simulation, another one which we will get into a lot more detail later. But basically, we can have a look at it over here. We can do a lot of different things. We can put signals in here, we can put routes in there, we can do a variety of things, make the roads slower, quicker, all these kind of things, and ban certain vehicles on the roads, etc. It's just a way of managing some things that gets pretty busy and complex later on. Here we have, hang on, let's have a quick look. See, now this building is just opened. It's immediately filled up. Why? Because we had a lot of adults living with their parents. But now we can see these people aren't getting all their needs. They don't have jobs. That's not a big problem. Don't worry about that. Unable to get food is a massive issue. Unable to get meat is a massive issue. Well, is a little bit less of an issue. Cultural enjoyment, all these other things, all issues that we need to have a look at. Why is this the problem? They probably don't have direct walking access. Look at this. This building is pretty isolated. Because this is a new part of our construction, we haven't actually connected any pathways to get it to its facilities. They can't get to school. They can't get to the shop. They can't get to the hospital over here. So we need to link them up ASAP. Because it'll take time to actually build it, because that's a complex reality of this game, we will put a little mud path in place here, right through there and through there, in the hope that that gets them a little bit closer to where they need. Yes, that does exactly do the trick for us at the moment, and we need to be very cautious about this. So they can get to school. School is over there. They can get to the shop. They can get to the hospital. They can get to the bus station from where they go to work, basically. So most of their needs will be met. So I'm very happy with that little path. But that means we need to be a little bit more cautious about what we're building and how quickly we're building it. On this side, what I might do is I might just, in the meantime, add a quick little pathway. just over there, so that that building doesn't run into the same problems. Yeah, that will be fine. Excellent. Now, what we might do is we might pause the construction of these two buildings for the time being and probably focus on some other construction items in the meantime. This one here is struggling to get built because it can't get any mechanisms. Anyway, more complexity. Okay, where were we? I can't remember. Got distracted. Okay, so now that problem has been solved. So that complexity is something that we're dealing with all the time. Oh yeah. We were looking at the game settings, and then research is also enabled. So realistic mode, I've got it disabled, and the reason I've got it disabled, so it's actually quite an interesting one. So realistic mode means that I can pay for this building to be built using foreign materials. It's basically insta-build, so you won't actually see the building progress. As you see here, at the moment, we're building our own buildings. That means we're sending construction crews. We need to provide all the materials, all the work days, and all the mechanisms required to build this building, and it takes a long time. Here you go. Construction is underway. That's it. If we click this button over here, we will fund this building. It'll be built instantly, pretty instantly. It takes a little bit of time, but pretty instantly using our money. At the moment, we're using our resources and not our money. So generally, I play realistic mode, but I have it disabled just in case disaster strikes and I would have needed to. So like this little path, if I couldn't get this to work, I may have needed to build a better path, and I may have needed to build it instantly in order to avoid the repercussions of that building getting very unhappy and people kind of leaving. So there we go. And then research is the other one. Either everything can be activated and ready to go straight away, or we need to research it individually. There we go. So we need to add another piece of research over here. Better hotels, high priority rankings. Let's do railway distribution. It's something that we'll need in the future, but for the moment, it's not too big of a deal. We'll think about those things in a lot more complexity later. So, how far are we going with our water? Our water is still quite heavily being constructed. So, I'm happy to kind of stop construction on these items while we quickly finish some of this. Our population is growing due to our extra people now moving into this area, and slowly we're starting to see a few more people that is unemployed and ready to work. 35 workers ready and available. No one is not working due to any issues with like childcare or health or anything like that, so that is absolutely awesome. Prisoners not working, 10 of them. So we could also now get some prison buses and move them to work sites, which is something that we will do in future. So there we go, even more complexity. So all of this realism equals an awesome game that you're going to sink absolute hours into it. I've played thousands of hours on this game, and I'm still enjoying it every bit as much. Now, another couple of reasons why this game is so cool and so and just awesome is because it did early access right. This game came into early access 5 years ago, and it just came into version 1, and it was playable all that time. They did it correct but if we go back to these game settings, when I started the game, it didn't have winter, it didn't have maintenance, it didn't have waste management, it didn't have water management, it had energy management from the start. It didn't have global events, it had building fires from the start, as far as I can remember. It didn't have seasons. It had vehicles, but no maintenance. It didn't have pollution when it started. It had the education simulation from the start. It didn't have crime and justice, and it didn't have traffic simulation, and it didn't have realistic mode, and it didn't have research. All of these things have been added along the way, year after year of development, and they've dropped little elements that slotted into the game and made it more complex and more exciting to play along the way. It was playable from the start, and it just kept growing, getting better, getting more complex. That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved it. So they did it right, in my opinion. The other thing that makes this absolutely amazing is an enormous community of modders. Look at my mods. These assets are all created by modders. Right? The game has a basic set of vanilla assets in there, And then you can get amazing assets. Look at this fire station. This is Mr. Rob's fire station, modeled after a real building somewhere. But you can add that, and it just adds a little bit of diversity to your cities. So again, and the community continues to add stunning assets. So your cities can really look different, and you can have themes and things like that. We really did it well, and they continue to embrace the modding community. Unlike games like the recent issues with the City Skylines 2, which completely turned its back on that modding community, and it just didn't have a way for the community to actually engage with the game in a way they wanted to, and the repercussions were there. This game did it absolutely right and is embracing the modding community, and it is making the game so much better. Okay, and so yes, I think that in a nutshell is this game. So you've got the rubles, you've got dates, you've got weather, you've got population management, you've got unemployment management, you've got basic needs management, you've got various overlays and things that you can have a look at. So let's quickly have a quick look at. So this is the list of all the buildings. I mean, sorry, not buildings, vehicles. You can see which vehicles are moving. What engine they have. It's just amazing complexity, and I'm assuming we can also see the level of wear somewhere. Can't quite see it here, but you should be able to. So that's it. You've got various overlays, so you can basically have a look at uneducated workers. We don't have any workers with lower education. You can see that they're located in these areas over here. So that next building has just been finished, and this one has access to basically everything it needs. So the warnings there are pretty limited, so I'm pretty happy with this building over here. Our population is growing. Now, if we go back to this substation, it's not drawing power from this substation. So where is it drawing its power from? It's split across multiple substations. So it's less of an issue. This one is at 52% loading. This one is at 44% loading, and this one is at 80%. So we're actually pretty good, and we've got that redundancy. Awesome. Okay, so we've got various overlays that we can look at. Now, we finished off the research, and I wanted to show you this. Now we can know where in our where on this map in our nation do we have various resources. So we've got a few spots of coal. Probably going to need to focus on this one over here. I can click it and it stays active. This one over here to get our first coal mines up and running. We'll need coal to produce electricity. We'll need coal to produce steel. So coal is going to be a very important early game resource. We also use coal for heating. So coal very important early on. Iron. We've got iron over here. We're definitely going to target this area over here. Coal and iron is what we need to make steel. So that tells me this area here on the river is probably a good spot for us, and we can switch on the coal. We can't switch on both? That's interesting. Okay. Thought we could switch on both. That area there in the middle means that that probably be a good spot so that we can not have to transport our goods too far. Again, that's another one. We can build trains and things like that as well to move things around. We can move things around by boat, by truck, by train, or by air, helicopters and planes in this game as well. It's just amazing. And okay, there's that. So our steel production is probably going to end up in this area. We've got, we are in an oil area. We can produce oil right in this area. I can kind of see that that's where I'm planning my rail infrastructure, but maybe we can put a few pump jacks next to the rail. Uranium, we don't know where uranium is because we need research for that, and we don't know where bauxite is because we need research for that. But again, that is our natural resources. So again, we will individually start to plan out our production chains that we need. And we do need to, we're doing our waste management over here. Okay, let's have a look. Now, we've got water, right? Water is in here. So target storages are full. So now this will fill up. Okay, so this building is full. We're pumping it in here. This is going to fill up slowly over time. I want to build up that buffer, and then we can almost switch this on. But we still need these sections to be built because we can't take the water anywhere yet. We've got the chemicals needed. We've taken out all the workers, so it's not actually producing anything. But once this is done, we can start producing drinkable water that will fill up this one here. Let us click on this and prioritize this facility. We've got like 3 more worker days here and a little bit of steel that is required. So let's get that going. We're currently importing all of our construction materials. We have steel available over here. It's probably just the construction crews that's taking a little bit of time to get there. I see we can probably build some more roads because our dumpers are not being used yet. Okay, one of the things that we can do is we can probably start looking at building slightly better pathways over here. So what I'll do, I don't want to close this down. So what I'll do is let's build a pathway up along here, turn it in, run it. We've got something in the way here. Let's try and run it in from this side. What is in the way here? Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe we can run it. We should be able to maybe pass right next to this building here. Really, we can't run through there? It's a bit of a bummer. Jeez, can we hug this building at all? That is not ideal. Yeah, I didn't quite plan that through. And this is why this game is awesome, because we need to plan all of this through. If we try and go, we can't go across here at all. Okay, what we'll do in that case is we'll run down here. So let's trim it back just a little bit. And we will run this down here. Like so. And we will tie it in to this road network over there. I think that'll going to be fine. What we'll do is we'll build that one first. So now I want to activate this construction. So here I've not got the realistic mode on in terms of construction, so I can pay for it, but I won't. I'll get the construction crews to come in here and build it. Okay, let's we've done. Oh, beautiful. Let's have a look. Let's switch this on. Oh, all of our pipes are done. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this up for business. Building is without drinking water. Really? That is not cool. It's just out of reach. It is just out of reach, guys. So we may have a problem over here. But I think we've got a water truck that will bring water here. Right? It will service it, I'm pretty sure. Right? I'm pretty sure it will. Numbers of workers resource to 0. Okay, let's switch it on. Get our 5 workers back in place. And now we'll see... people will start working here straight away. There comes someone coming to come and work here. And that person is there and now starting to generate water. Oh yeah, it's filled up its own water tank. It should. It's generating the water. So now we can have a look over here. This is now filling up over here, the tank. And that should also then fill up these. Beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. We've got water up and running. Let's go underground. Let's switch on an overlay around our water network. I believe it's over here with water flow. Now we can see we've got water flowing to all buildings. That's not built, that's why it's not saying that. But we can also see the pipe. So this pipe is getting pretty busy, but generally looks all good. We should be able to check pressure as well. So this is actually very good in terms of pressure, so we didn't actually need pumps. So that's saving us electricity. We'll fill up this one. We can't see the pressure here, can we? But anyway, we're filling up this one, and then we're pushing that from that, with using gravity, pushing it to these buildings. Everybody's got their water going. And we can do the same with everything else. We can see what the heating levels are like. So all of these buildings are nice and warm due to our heating system. That has been a lot. Okay, we have achieved our water. Oh, there's a fire. I wanted to show you a fire. Where is our fire? Our brand new building is experiencing a fire. We at least have our fire trucks on their way. It's over there, and they will start sorting things out pretty quickly. Excellent. They are going to save everybody, and we shouldn't have too much of a problem. There we go. Fire has been extinguished. We also have the waste collection over here. So now, as we know, we've got a complex system of waste collection as well. So we can see people will be dumping their waste over there, and we've got waste trucks to come and pick it up, and they sell it at the border at the moment. We will have to process it in the future. So there we go. I think those are my final thoughts on this game. And I'm going to leave this episode here. In the next episode, actually, what we can do now is we can probably quickly plan out the rest of this infrastructure. So let's extend our little pathway over here. Okay, a little bit. At the same time, we would like to look at... Let's see, can we... Yeah, I don't think we can get through there, though. We will not be able to get through here. We'll be able to get through there and over that way. So, I'm thinking we want to do that. And we want to do probably this. And what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, tie that in there. And we'll get our construction crews to start working on that. Let's get that built first. Oh, this one has been built. I like it. We also would like to add a little bit over here. So we'll get that section built also. So that we've got just a little bit of redundancy in terms of where people can access. Now we can have a look at this again. People can access a little bit further than they used to be able to, but not quite by much. Anyway, there we go. Slowly we will take over the various items. Look at that happiness we've got over there. Oh, I love it. Our happiness is going up, meaning our productivity will go up. And this is kind of why our happiness is going up. It's all going down. What is the impacts on happiness is over there. Generally, and that's the end of winter. Oh, very good timing. So, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's been a nice little episode. And I thought it good to just go through why I love this game. This is my favorite game. It'll probably continue to be my favorite game for quite a while. I don't see anything on the horizon that is better than this. I love these management games. I love city builders. And there is just nothing better, nothing more complex. You can really do so much. The next thing we will do is plan our clothing factory, and probably then, now that we know where things are, we'll start to plan out the rest of our region. We'll start to lay down the kind of key infrastructure corridors for our nation. We'll go to this map very quickly. I'm going to start like a main road network, a national road network that starts over here somewhere, and kind of generally runs through this. We'll have to see how we do it, but we will run it through our nation in a variety of ways. Build some major bridges, build a nice big port, probably somewhere over here, I think. If we build it over here, we can't export to the west. The west is through this one, I think. So we'll have to have a look. Plan. This could be our port, or this side could be our port. We can't. We're not going to export to the west. Our port is definitely going to be on this side. Our narrative is that we won't be exporting to the west. We'd be exporting to our Soviet neighbors. That's why that's going to be our primary border. Potentially somewhere over here, there's going to be a primary border, and then we're going to build a nice big port. This is such a natural port. We're going to build a nice big port somewhere over here. So we'll have to have a look at how we're going to do that. But these kind of planning items is what we're going to start looking at in the next episode as well. Guys, if you've enjoyed it, this is Cornoe, and Cornoe is better already because now it has water available, free flowing through the pipes into their houses. People are happy. The people of Cornoe are happy because they've got access to water, they've got access to electricity. It's not cold in the winter, and they kind of have jobs, but we need to find them some more to do. So we'll start building the next pieces of this puzzle. Look at this construction going on over here. We'll start building the next pieces of our town. We'll need to start putting some more infrastructure over this way. We also... I think our sewage is fine for now. So really the big ticket item now is to get an industry going so that we can start to transition from losing a lot of money to making some money, or at least balancing that out for the time being. Guys, if you've enjoyed it, hit that like button. I would love to see your comments down below. What are you thinking about the pace of play? What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to fill these kind of moments where we're not doing a lot to just talk about elements of the game. We could talk about things like how to manage our distribution offices, how to deal with waste management, stuff like that. We'll do those discussions while we wait for things to happen. If there's really nothing to talk about, you can please put it in the comments if you want me to talk about something specific. I can start adding it to the list of things to fill to use as filler time slots. But if we really have nothing to talk about, we'll start doing some time lapses and things like that. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.